You might be wondering why today's episode I am coming to you from my couch. I got the COVID, and to be honest, I don't think that I would have known that I had the COVID if it were not for my Whoop band. So I wanted to share with you today how exactly I was able to uncover that I got the COVID, take my test, and make sure that I was quarantining myself so as to not infect any of my other friends or family, and how maybe you can do the same if you have a Whoop or something else like it that is tracking your fitness. So I've had my Whoop since 2017. I stay on top of all the podcasts and journals that they come out with because that's just stuff that interests me. And one of the episodes that they came out with on their podcast, it was episode 102 with Scott Stallings. And it was about how Whoop is uncovering patients that have COVID-19 and are unaware of it yet. They do this by tracking your respiratory rate. Now, your respiratory rate is how many times you're breathing in and out on average over a minute's period of time. So based on all of the data that Whoop pulls from me wearing it since 2017, they're able to come up with a number of what a normal range for me is for breathing in and out within a minute. So with the weather change, I woke up with sore throat, runny nose, pretty normal for living in Detroit, Michigan this time of year. But what I did notice when I opened my Whoop app first thing in the morning on how to see how I recovered was that my respiratory rate had spiked. Now, the update that Whoop has made on their app is pretty cool. There are 3 metrics that they take note of, one being your resting heart rate, one being your heart rate variability, but the most important indicator for COVID being your respiratory rate. And when that spikes, it can be a key indicator for potentially having COVID. There's a few other things that can spike your respiratory rate, so I don't want you to freak out if this does happen to you. The few other things would be if there's terrible air quality where you are, my California peeps, if you're in high altitude, so my people traveling to potentially Colorado, that could spike it. If you're drinking or smoking, so if you had a night out, you went a little hard, you probably know better, that could spike it as well. But one of the other things being is COVID. And the cool thing about the Whoop app is that if it spikes in a deviation that is abnormal to other deviations, it will notify you. So what happened was when you are infected with COVID, your respiratory rate will slightly increase over time. And then there will be one day where it just bang takes a hit. And that's exactly what happened. And my app notified me of this. This isn't something that I'm typically looking at. And so it's a cool piece of the app that's going to give you an insight on your health that you wouldn't even necessarily be thinking of otherwise. So some cool information about what Whoop is doing with this is they actually have a study right now. They took the information from 25,000 of their Whoop members, and so far it's proved 80% accuracy to detect COVID-19. So I share this with you because, as I said before, I would have otherwise woken up, gone to work, saw my family, did a bunch of fun stuff over the weekend. Had I not known about this information and the insight that it can provide you while your symptoms are still mild. So COVID did hit me pretty hard these past few days. It is no joke, hence why I'm coming to you from my couch. But I think that the more that I can share this with others, and if you have a Whoop band or some type of fitness tracker that is tracking your respiratory rate, it is a cool indicator to look at, and another reason why health tech is amazing and is going to continue to do amazing things for the future to come. So that's it for me this episode. COVID is no joke. Stay safe, get your boosters, and I will see you in the next one.